There is a huge change coming to Amazon that's going to affect all Amazon sellers. And if you are a seller on Amazon.com, this is going to affect you. So stay tuned for the video and pay attention. Here's the big change coming to Amazon. So what you're looking at is on the left, we're looking at an Amazon seller profile on Amazon.co.uk. This is obviously the UK version of Amazon. And as you can see here, they have a business name, they have the business type, they have the trade registration number, the VAT number, which is essentially like their EIN number. There's a phone number, a customer service address, and a business address. Now, if you look at the seller profile on the right for Amazon.com, what you'll notice is that there's almost no information, right? There's a seller's name, which doesn't have to be the same as a business name. Anybody could make up a random name and sell on Amazon. You have a chance to put a little bio about you. Anchor Direct is a sole authorized seller of authentic Anchor products. You can see the money back guarantee or the return policy, and that's pretty much all you can see, right? There's not a whole lot of info there. Whereas on the left, we actually know the business's name. We know the business's address. We have a phone number to reach them. We have their customer service address or where we would return a product to. Much more transparent. So what's happening is starting on September 1st of 2020, Amazon is going to be essentially making Amazon.com just like on the left, just like Amazon.uk, just like Amazon Europe, just like Amazon in Japan, just like Amazon in Mexico. And this is because in those countries, local laws and local regulations require that on platforms, sellers have that info available. Now, why this is kind of a big deal, there's actually a couple types of sellers this is going to affect. And there's actually a couple ways that this is really going to affect e-commerce on the Amazon platform. But just in terms of kind of the aspect of anonymity, there's a famous, there's a lot of stories, but one famous story is about a woman who bought a retractable dog leash on Amazon.com. Now, she was walking her dog. I think the dog saw a squirrel. The dog tried to take off running. And what wound up happening was the leash wound up breaking. The leash, because it's on a retractable leash or on a spring, the leash flings back at this woman, and the metal piece at the end that connects to the dog collar, that wound up hitting her in the eye. They wound up having to remove her eye. She lost her eye. She lost her eyesight. But when it actually came to suing the seller for selling this, quote unquote defective product, she couldn't track him down. And this story is several years old, and if I'm not mistaken, I think to this date, she and her lawyers and even Amazon haven't been able to figure out who this seller is. So one of the reasons for this policy is kind of more accountability. Customers, are theoretically able to, have a better idea who they're doing business with. And if they are injured or wronged by a product, they actually know who that is to go after that person, to sue that person, to take legal ramifications. Here in the U.S., it's very easy to sue anyone. Anybody can sue anybody for anything. However, the one thing that's required to sue somebody is you have to actually know who you're going after. And as you can see here from the example on the right, like anybody could essentially set up a burner Amazon account that's not really tied to them and sell whatever they want, right? Actually, before we read the article, here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to give you kind of the bullet points, talk about who's going to be affected and how this is going to change selling on Amazon, and then we'll give a read through to the article for anybody who doesn't want to stick around and kind of read the whole thing. And I'll try to be brief. My Screencast-O-Matic account expired, my year expired. So right now I'm recording on a free trial, so I only got 15 minutes here. Here's the three types of sellers, or the three ways, actually I should say 4 ways I think it is, that I think this is really going to affect sellers. So the first type of seller this is going to affect is the new small-time seller, right? One thing I notice about new people starting businesses is people are, very protective of their privacy, which is understandable, right? People don't want their personal phone number out there on the internet. They don't want their address out there on the internet. But another thing about new sellers tend to be cheap, and they want to kind of do the $100 startup or the side hustle. You want to get started with as little time, effort, and money as possible, just in case it doesn't work out, you're not too invested in it. So I notice with a lot of Shopify stores, newer Shopify stores, drop shipping stores, people won't have a customer service phone number. Why? Well, because they don't want to put their personal phone number out there, and they don't want to pay for an 800 number, even though you can get an 800 number for like $10 a month. A lot of people don't want to pay for a P.O. box, so they just give out their address on a one-off as people need to return things. They don't actually post it on their site, things like that. So what's going to happen here? Well, if you are not an actual business, but you're selling on Amazon, your personal info is going to be on Amazon. So if your name's Tim Taylor and you live at 123 Main Street, right on Amazon, somebody can go on and see Tim Taylor 123 Main Street. If you're wanting an added layer of privacy, or you don't want your personal information out there, you're either going to have to set up an LLC or go to the county and set up a DBA, so you can be Tim Taylor, but doing business as Anchor Direct, and that way you could put Anchor Direct. And if you don't want your personal address out there, you will have to go get a P.O. box or a mailbox store address. One thing I'm not sure of, which with a lot of different platforms and things like that that require address, a lot of people won't accept a P.O. box. I'm not sure if Amazon will accept P.O. boxes or not. One kind of workaround to this, you go to either a UPS store or a small independent mailbox store near you. They'll typically have a real street address, so it'll be like 123 Main Street, and then you'll be like box number 222. Something that I did with my business, I had one of these addresses, so 123 Main Street, but instead of calling it box 222, I called it suite number 222. And if there was a distributor or something who would only deal with people with a physical presence, well, okay, now I have a suite number, I have an actual physical presence. So that's kind of a workaround for that. But I think the new sellers are going to be one of the groups of people who are really affected by this. And, I don't know if you want to call it speculation. A lot of people have long been saying that, well, it is small sellers selling out of their houses that help build the platform and build out Amazon's catalog. Amazon's ultimate goal at this point, they'd rather work with larger, more professional sellers. That's kind of the point of this whole One Brands initiative that Amazon is doing. So this is, even though it's not necessarily the main purpose for it, this is going to help kind of get rid of some of those small-time sellers. Another big effect on selling on Amazon this is going to have is on map pricing. If anybody doesn't know what map pricing is, I'll give you an example. I used to sell sports cards. So let's say I sold Topps sports cards. Topps would have something called map pricing. So for a case of cards, they would sell it to me for, we'll just say $20 for this example. The suggested retail price is $50. Now, if they didn't have map pricing, what would happen is, because there's me and dozens or even hundreds of other sellers out there, I want to make more sales. So rather than selling at 50, I sell for 49. The next guy sells for 48. The next guy sells at 47. Before you know it, it turns into a race to the bottom, and we're all selling for like 26 bucks, making $1 per sale. So brands, companies do what they call map pricing. So they'll say, you can't sell this product for under $50. Kind of creates a level playing field for everybody. Doesn't allow a race to the bottom to happen, and it kind of maintains like the integrity or the price point of your product. Now, because anybody can set up an Amazon account with any name, it's really easy for people to violate map pricing on Amazon. Now that your account has to tie into your actual business name and your address, it's going to be a little bit hard for brands to kind of violate map pricing. Now, could I go set up an LLC with a different address and a different name, completely unrelated to my business name that my distributor knows me by? Well, yeah, I could do that. But that's one extra step. It's one extra hurdle. So that's a second way that this is going to affect selling on Amazon, right? First is the small-time sellers who are going to have to jump through a couple extra hoops to maintain their privacy. Second is it's going to affect people who violate map pricing. Third is the counterfeits, right? Like if you're somebody who sells counterfeit items or you violate patents or trademarks, it's going to be a lot easier for whoever owns that patent or trademark to actually come after you as a seller. They actually know who you are. There's an address that they can actually follow up with or send cease and desist letters to. So that's another kind of big change to the platform, and in a big way that this is going to change selling on Amazon. And you know what? I actually forgot what my fourth point was. This is actually the second time I had to make this video. My screencast-o-matic glitched on me earlier. So let's just hop into the article. If it comes to me, it comes to me. This article comes to us today, July 8th, 2020. It's titled "Amazon Marketplace is no." Oh, you know what? That's what it was. It gives sellers the recourse to be able to come after you and sue you. I forget if I mentioned that one. This article comes to us from Marketplace Pulse. Amazon will begin displaying the business name and address of sellers in the U.S. marketplace starting on September 1st, putting the U.S. marketplace in line with the European, Japan, and Mexico marketplaces, where this information has always been available because of local laws. This is the message that was sent to Amazon sellers like you and I. Beginning on September 1st, 2020, we will display a seller's business name and address on their Amazon.com seller profile page. For individuals, we will display the individual name and address. This is consistent with seller profile pages across Amazon stores in Europe, Japan, and Mexico. Amazon's U.S. marketplace is its oldest and largest in terms of the number of sellers and processed GMV. However, because local laws do not require it, Amazon has shielded the identity of sellers from consumers and other businesses. Sellers choose a storefront name, and Amazon keeps the business details private. And you can kind of see how naked our stores are in the U.S. This actually has been a frustration of me in the past, trying to figure out, when I was selling and people would be, hijacking my listings or trying to sell my products in an unauthorized fashion. It was, nearly impossible to figure out who people were. You could order their product and then try to do some digging, but it was tough. Removed sellers' anonymity benefits consumers by allowing them to directly seek legal action with the seller in case, for example, the product they purchased caused harm. Other businesses, most often brands, benefit from knowing the seller's true identity for managing approved retailers and directly pursuing counterfeits. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security, DHS, released a document in January titled Combating Trafficking in Counterfeit and Pirated Goods. One of the suggested actions is platforms should implement measures to inform consumers prior to the completion of a transaction of the identity of the storefront owners and or those responsible for fulfilling the transaction. So Amazon has come under fire a lot in recent years for not doing enough to protect sellers and protect brands. So here's kind of one step in the right direction. Amazon's announcement adds, we are making this change to ensure there is a consistent baseline of seller information to help customers make informed shopping decisions. However, most consumers won't notice a change as Amazon has made the marketplace invisible to them. As a result, consumers rarely check the seller they are buying from and thus won't notice the business details page. And this is an important point, right? Like if you're buying from somebody's Shopify store, you may go check out their About Us page. You may go check out their Contact Us page to see if they have an address, see if they have a phone number. With Amazon, I think a lot of consumers who don't know about Amazon FBA and selling on Amazon, I think a lot of consumers just assume if it's available via Amazon Prime, it's sold by Amazon, the actual company. And what most of these people don't realize is actually 63% of all items sold on Amazon are actually sold by third-party sellers. So the vast majority of stuff, you have well over a 50% chance that you're not buying from Amazon. I think a lot of sellers don't realize that. But the other thing is because, U.S. Amazon seller profiles are so naked, people don't even bother checking them because there's not really any information there anyways. Amazon's announcement adds, we are making this change to ensure that, I think we already talked about that. The change, okay, here's an interesting part. The change doesn't prevent sellers from faking business details or establishing new business entities when they want to appear unrelated to a previously suspended or just another seller account. A common practice among international sellers because Amazon's vetting of business details is imperfect, but additional transparency will perhaps enable third-party companies to analyze those business details better than Amazon. Commerce shouldn't be anonymous. Making sellers' business identities public is the right step, and further tightening the rules around business identities used for sellers on the platform would be a welcome change as well. And here's the part that's really interesting at the end. It'll be interesting to see how sellers provide this data. If you've ever set up a Google My Business page or formerly Google Places, how it works is you put in your address and phone number, and Google will actually send you a postcard in the mail. You have to receive this postcard, get a PIN number off the postcard, and enter that into your Google My Business account before it goes live and before you're able to do anything really substantial with the page. Now, what this proves, it basically proves, is this in my address? At the very least, if nothing else, it proves that I have control over this address. I'm able to get mail at this address. You would think it'd be pretty common sense for Amazon to do something similar, like you put in the address, we send a postcard, and you have to verify some detail. If Amazon does this, it kind of shows that they're kind of serious about this initiative. If Amazon doesn't do this, what's to stop somebody from putting in a fake business name and a fake address? And really, this is kind of nothing more for show, which is typically what Amazon and really every company does. Does Amazon really care about counterfeiting? No, they're making fees off the FBA fees or the fulfillment fees. They're making fees off the seller fees. I mean, at the end of the day, if people sell counterfeit stuff, Amazon's still making money. It doesn't really affect them. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what this looks like upon rolling out, how it's enforced, etc. But if you are an Amazon seller, this is going to affect you. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this, so drop a comment down below. And I am coming up on the 15-minute limit that I have to record this screencast. So we'll cut this out. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button down below, and we'll catch you on the next video. Later, guys.